smokes, guys. Dan, you were not joking. So this is really the luxe packaging part. This is the digitally printed. This is rigid setup. So if you've ever bought something off the internet and it showed up and was much more extravagant than you expected based on the recommendation of your buddy, thanks Dan, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. Guys, we're back with a BoxBuilder Breakdown. I'm the Box Builder. If this is your first time tuning in, on the BoxBuilder Breakdown, we unbox direct-to-consumer brands, and I give you live stream of consciousness about what they did with their packaging, maybe how you can use some of those tips and some things maybe to avoid. Based on the recommendation from my good buddy Dan Dahl, in fact, his company, Soapbox Soaps, or Soapbox now, was the very first box account that I ever opened. I don't even remember how I got in there, but I cold called them, and we've been doing business together for years at this point. But he texted me the other day and said, have you ever heard of Last Crumb? And I said, no. What is it? And he said, you got to buy it. Here's the link. Go buy it. Do a breakdown of it. So Dan, thank you for that. Last Crumb is a gourmet direct-to-consumer cookie company, and that's really all I know about them. I try not to look it up because I didn't want to spoil it. So let's dive right in. Doorstep Impression on this is incredible. This is exactly how it came to us, and I'm super, super impressed. This is digital, but it's so good that we thought it might have been litho. The real test is when you get real close to it, nose to nose, some of the black to white transitions have just a little bit of feathering. So there's like dots that fall in and out of the edge. That's the only way we could tell that it was digital. Black and white. Digital it's very challenging to print gradients like this that are black to white. And I would guess, based on the look of this is probably printed on either one of the newer Barbarans or on the HB C500, their big new digital press. But it's fantastic. I mean, everything seems very secure. The print is fantastic. It doesn't have flute lines like we normally see. However, this was second day air, so it doesn't get as much damage as like a ground shipment would be. So just take all this in. See how shiny it is? That's coated stock. The digital ink is coated too, or is shiny too, but you can tell where the ink doesn't exist, it's still coated. It's still shiny, so either there's an overprint varnish, which is probably the case, but the coated stock is also shiny. So just very cool box. So let's open it together. They have one of my favorite features on direct-to-consumer packaging, which is tear tape, or zipper perf. So let's give it a tear. All right, already we can see something here. We don't add this because it's plastic, and I don't think you need it necessarily, but before we get into anything else, this is actually a reinforcement tape so that when you open this box, you don't get these things to tear. But it's plastic, so we stay away from it for all the reasons you might guess, because it's not very good for the environment. Let's keep on pulling. Oop. I don't want to tear this up. This is E-flute. Yeah, coated two-side. So I was right. I'm going to take that off. That's bothering me. So let's unbox it together. Is that in frame? All right. Oh, yeah. So it's one-sided print, but, oh, it's actually an OPF. All right. So let's do this. Holy smokes, guys. Dan, you were not joking. So this is really the luxe packaging part. This is the digitally printed. This is rigid setup. So this is just an OPF like we talked about with the zipper perf. It looks great. Not the star of the show anymore. Look at this. This is rigid setup or rigid box. We've talked about this before. They basically take a litho label and put it on like 52 or 54 point chipboard or something maybe thicker than that sometimes. This is like game board material, but with an elevated sheet of laminate on the outside. You've got metallic or faux metallic. This looks like actual metallic. And then you've got spot UV. This varnish right here is spot UV gloss. It's very, very nice. Let's see. Open the damn box. It's like they knew we were gonna stall. Sometimes these are like magnetic. So we were talking about magnets, you can see them here. And this might be one that collapses. Yeah, we'll get into that in a second. Man, are we getting all this way? Okay, it looks like this one had a little diarrhea. That's okay. It's hot here in Florida. But man, let's see this. Ooh, I do get actually some adhesive smell, which is something you have to worry about with food. Digital print specifically, in the old days, digital print wasn't even used for food because the styrene inks have a certain smell, and that smell actually penetrates into chocolate or fats. It's lipophilic, meaning it wants to adhere to fats. And I'm smelling some of that, a little bit here of the adhesive, and we'll get into where that probably is. But it's not going to take away from how delicious these cookies are. In fact, these may be barrier bags to keep all that smell out. Same thing here. This is probably faux metallic, actually. You can see a little bit difference in sheen between there and here. This is just glued on. Let's jump in here. There's a book, which I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not going to read. Very good stuff, but I'm not going to read it. The paper felt like soft touch. Let's put this part aside, but man, these look fantastic. They got a little bit of the poopy bag here, but that's okay. Not today, Mr. Muffin Man. Everything but the candles. Macadamia. All right, these are fun. Netflix and Crunch. That one's for you, Amy. James Dean, Oreo milkshake. All right, let's get these out of here. Oh, interesting. It may be. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. This is going to be telling. Most people probably aren't going to notice this because they're enamored by this box. But those bags smell like adhesive. And maybe the cookies do too. I hope not. And they seem like they're probably barrier, but we're going to find out. Okay. You see, can you get that? I'm just so worried we're not going to get all this in frame. This is a custom insert. All right, let's just do this. All right, we're going to break this down. Sometimes you can get these boxes where these corners are actually magnetic. So they will ship to you flat like this. Well, oh, they are magnetic. So they've used this double-sided adhesive tape in addition to the magnets to help them stay erected. Because sometimes what will happen is if you just rely on magnets and put something in there that's kind of heavy and pushes out, these will end up flattening out. But it looks like they avoided that by, yeah. Here, this is kind of cool. Oh, look, it's a magnet. Get my chakras aligned. Look. Oh, a little treat for the kids. Okay, so we've got the base. Oh, this is all glued in here. Or I guess technically not glued. It's just panels of double-sided tape. These are also glued in. Let's get in here. All right. We have a casualty here. There we go. We've got, this is very thick TMP. So this is a folding carton grade. That's sticky tape. Oh, I smashed it. Oops. Okay, so this is TMP, coated one side. It's like thick folding carton, so this is probably 32 point or something like that. And we can tell it's TMP because the inside of TMP is a little bit yellow. TMP stands for thermomechanical pulp, which means it's not bleached. They basically take chunks of wood and grind it up with heat and steam, but there's no bleaching like solid bleach sulfate, which is SBS, which is bleached throughout. This is cheaper than SBS. It prints just as good in most cases, and it's more readily available nowadays than even like CC&B. Printed great. This is very likely printed offset. Yeah, this is an offset printed item. Toss that, toss that. These are made of the same material. They're probably even nicked out on the same sheet. But these are folding carton, TMP. Yeah. You think we can get this box apart? Let's see. Oh yeah, look at that. So we tore the label right off. Underneath here you've got chipboard, bending chip is sometimes what it's called. But you can tell, yeah, that's cool. That's part of the poly on the outside here. Very interesting. Yeah, this is fun. So this is what we said. This is rigid setup board. So they take these, they basically take these, I would bet this is made in China. Maybe not. But they take these panels that are scored and cut, and then in many cases they're literally hand applying these with jigs. So they'll have a big sheet of paper and they'll set one side on and then they'll fold it down and then they'll fold it up, and it kind of ends up being a fully assembled box. All right, let's sniff these cookies. Which one's going to have a good smell? S'mores, sans, campfire. Let's open that up. I think these are probably barrier bags, so I think they probably knew exactly what they were doing. They were preventing any exterior smells from coming in, so the cookies arrived fine. This one, like I said, is a little bit melty. You want it? You don't want it? Look at this. We're getting outside of the scope of the BoxBuilder Breakdown, but I talked to the boss. He said it's fine. Dan, these are pretty good, man. You don't want half? You want a piece of it? All right. Yeah, it's wild. I'm tasting these on purpose. One of the ways that the smell can be insidious is you may not smell it, but you definitely can taste it. If the digital inks or the adhesives penetrated the bag, it's almost guaranteed that you would taste it in the chocolate. So, guys, this is one of the best unboxings we've done, in my opinion. It's covering a ton of bases, a ton of materials, very high-end print. I think these are like $150 shipped for maybe a dozen cookies. So they're spending some money on packaging, and based on my first bite, and based on what my hands look like, it's totally worth it. So if you have a brand that you want to see all of this destruction happen with, write it in the comments. Let us know. If we buy it and are able to reship it back to you, if I didn't destroy the box, then we'll ship it back to you as a thank you for ordering this. Dan, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to eat all of these, and I might send you an empty bag. Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you next time.